So we are looking at how to become significant in the corporate world as a young lady. And there are a couple of things I'm going to share that will push you to thrive and become better in your career. And there are some things I will share that you must not use in the corporate world. You can also use as a lady who is an entrepreneur. So it's going to cut across all of this. And I think I have some level of experience to get to share when it comes to working with women. Apart from being a consultant, I've been able to consult for incredible companies that were founded by women. I've been able to work with senior executives in different companies who are women. And majority of my team, I have 16 employees in the company, and 80% of those are young ladies, and all of them are fresh graduate, like entry professionals, not very experienced. That means they left the university and then they started working with me, and they have grown over time, and they are still growing. And of course, I have a lot of sisters, so I can be able to teach a lot from experience when it comes to working with women, and of course, providing advice to women in the corporate setting as a corporate consultant, and working with women who run businesses as a business development consultant. So the question is, how do you become significant in the corporate world as a young lady? What are those things that you should take into consideration that will push you forward? Life is all about growth. I always like to say that learning is not necessary if growth will not happen. Learning is not necessary if change will not happen. So, okay, so let's look at some fundamentals, which I think they are critical in this journey. Young women who dominate, and there is a question. Have you noticed that in the society nowadays, there are some set of people that if you are not careful, you start feeling as if these people were created different, and they get to dominate and they get to succeed more than young women. And sometimes you may start feeling as if these young women were created different, or maybe the society gets to favor them in a different way. Of course, some people were born into privileges. Some young women were born into opportunities, into better families and all of that. But then there are some young women that have started from nowhere, basically, and they have been able to advance their careers into places that when you look at where they started and you look at where they are today, you begin to wonder, how did they get here? How did they get here? And from research and from the people I've been able to talk to and experience and work with, one thing I've understood is that many of these women get to have the vision, they get to have strong values, they get to command strong character, and they get to command a lot of massive competence in what they have chosen to do. But these are just the fundamentals which are critical. So if you are a young woman who desire to dominate, you need to start sorting out some of these basic things. The basic things about what is your career vision. If you have started a business, what is the business vision you have for that business? What are the values that define you as a young person, as a young woman? What are the character, what kind of character traits do you want to embody and practice as a young woman? What kind of competence do you want to command in your industry as a young woman in the corporate world? Now, there are some fundamental significance that I think they are critical for us to understand. Because when you understand the certain fundamentals that makes up the foundation, they enable you now to start building the right way. I always like to encourage people, Build deep before you build wide. Many people start building at the top before, and when certain things start happening, they get to crash, they get to collapse. So it's critical that as a young woman, you need to make sure that for you to build a thriving career in the corporate world as an entrepreneur, you need to sort out some basic fundamentals that are critical for you to live a significant journey. Number one is, these are not in any order. So as I talk about them, you need to start looking at, where do you need to start causing change? Where do you need to start taking actions and filling a particular gap in your journey? Okay, somebody's complaining that there's no sound. Can somebody else confirm that you're getting me, so that I know it's not from my end? It could be her network. Can you get me?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Good.
Yes, I can get you.
Getting you clearly, sir.
Good, thank you. All right, let's proceed. So the first thing I will talk about is intensive on-the-job experience. Now, this is very critical for people that are still entry professionals, what they call entry-level professionals, right? If you really, before you start thinking about building a corporate experience that will go places, you need to start looking at, how do you really start climbing that particular ladder? And now imagine that is a ladder that you may not really have somebody to give you the ladder. So how do you start climbing a place when you don't have the ladder? You may need to start building your own ladder that can qualify you to climb the corporate ladder, right? And this is where it is important that if you're a young lady and you desire to thrive in the corporate world, one of your first objectives is to start investing and taking intentional actions towards acquiring on-the-job experience. And this is where what they talk about volunteering and internship comes in. Sometimes you do volunteering and internship for the purpose of introduction into an industry that you are a novice, into an industry that you don't command any kind of experience. Because it is critical that before you start climbing, you need to lay the right foundation. And I'm one of those who strongly encourage that, than for you to be at home as a young person who just left the university. Find a place where you can serve. Find a startup, find an NGO, find a community project, find anything around you where you can involve and be part of it. There are a lot of advantages in doing this, because it is difficult for you. And if, like some of us, we do a lot of corporate consulting. And one of the reasons why many companies don't like to recruit people that don't have experience, because they don't want to spend money training young professionals who are not experienced, because to them that is an expense, in quotes. But some companies now understand that they need to build what they call talent pipeline. Some are now investing in structured internship programs, but it's going to take a while for many companies to start doing that. So it is your responsibility as a young woman to invest in gathering the right on-the-job experience. And the good news is, we are in an ecosystem. We are in an economy whereby there are so many small businesses springing up. There are so many startups springing up. And many of these small businesses and startups don't have the right amount of money to actually pay for good staffs, in quotes, for example. So sometimes you can go serve them with the intention of gathering the right on-the-job experience that can position you to start climbing the right corporate ladder when the time comes. Let me share a practical example. There's a young lady, the last female staff we just employed in the office, I think 2 months ago. She just came to the office, and the whole idea was that she was tired of sitting at home. That was the whole idea that we got. So she came to the office to volunteer and to carry out an internship. That was what we got. So, okay, good. Since we don't have an intern right now in the office, okay, come start working with us. And in the process, she was productive. She was doing well. And And for a while, I just, when she came, it was my other senior manager who welcomed her. So I think I didn't see her like after like 4 or 5 days, she started work or so. But in the long run, she became very productive. She was contributing a lot to the daily goals and the weekly goals of the business and all of that. And later on, we decided, okay, you know what? Let us give her a full a job offer. Let's give her a job offer. And she is now a full-time staff. But let me tell you, originally, we did not plan to employ a staff, right? But now she has a full-time job because she stepped up and was looking for that opportunity where she can serve and gain the right experience, which has now given her the opportunity to actually get a job for herself in the operations department. The second foundation that you need to lay for yourself as a young lady is practice what I call innovative learning curriculum. Innovative learning curriculum. If you are somebody who studies the corporate setting and you study the business world, you will understand that the business world is changing so fast. And if you depend only on what you studied in school, you depend only on what you know in your field, you may quickly become irrelevant as a young professional, or you may not have the right capabilities to command a certain level of competence and uniqueness in the corporate setting as a young lady. Companies now are looking for people that can bring extra value and advance the mission to another level. And you cannot do that if you have limited information. I always share something with my team. I always share and I emphasize, I tell them, be careful, the company should not outgrow you. There are many professionals that will become irrelevant in the future. When I say the future, it could be next year, next month, next 2 years, next 10 years, next 5 years. It all depends on your industry. But there are some professionals that will become irrelevant in the future because the industry that they work in has outgrown them. Number two, the company where they worked has outgrown them. Let me give you an example. If you read banking and finance in school right now, and you left school, and you are not paying attention to fintech and cryptocurrency, you are actually doing yourself a disadvantage because the banking sector is evolving. The financial sector is evolving into a unique direction, into financial assets, into things that you did not study in school. So the only way that you can remain relevant as a young lady who read banking and finance is for you to practice innovative learning curriculum and start reading about blockchain and how it's going to affect banking, cryptocurrency, fintech, the movement of money, financial assets, and all of that. It is very critical. So if you remain just dormant to what you studied in school, you're in trouble. Let's go to marketing, for example. If you left school 2-3 years ago, there is a high probability that if you read marketing, you have a degree in marketing and so on, it's possible that you did not do social media marketing as a course. It is possible that you did not do search engine optimization as a course. It is possible that you did not do digital marketing in full as a course. It is possible that you did not do TikTok as a course. Of course, because that is where marketing is going. So, and until you start practicing innovative learning curriculum, you will not be able to start learning those things that are very relevant in the present dispensation as a young lady who is desiring to build a thriving career in the corporate world. So I want to charge you. Invest. That's why I always have some level of pity for professionals who don't read, for professionals who don't attend trainings like this or even master classes and summits, because it is in those places that your mind will be open to some things that are very critical for your rising as a professional in the corporate world. So if you don't intentionally have an innovative learning curriculum, it's going to affect you, which is not good. So invest time. Look at the industry, from healthcare to education, to agriculture, to the financial sector. to public health, wherever you find yourself, there is something at the moment that is disrupting your industry. And you may not go back to school to learn it. It is your responsibility as a young professional to invest and start learning that thing that is critical for your rising as a young lady who desires to build an amazing career in the corporate sector. If you are getting some relevance and this is worth it, can you indicate in the chat box that you are getting some value? Just type, don't bother to talk, just type. Are you getting some value right now? All right, I want to be sure so that we are not leaving anybody behind. Okay, good. Thank you for confirming that. Excellent. Excellent. Let's proceed. Let's proceed. Okay, we're still in the fundamentals, right? Good. The third fundamental thing that will lead to your significance is what I call personalized coaching and mentoring. Young ladies, mentorship and coaching is very important for you. Very, very important. If not, you make a lot of mistakes that the experience of people who have gone ahead of you would have taught you. I know they keep saying that experience is the best teacher, but in our dispensation, old experience sometimes can save you some mishaps and some challenges that you would have overcome and focus on learning relevant stuff. So it is important that if for example, if you desire to build a career in the banking sector, start getting closer to people that can mentor you, that can coach you, or people that you can follow in the banking sector. Like for example, if you desire to thrive in the banking sector, why not go on social media platform and follow the general manager of EcoBank Cameroon, who is a lady. Follow any top lady, because these kind of people get to share, they get to write content, they get to write about things that they're experiencing, their lessons in the job, their lessons in their career journey, and all of that. That could be a form of indirect mentoring and coaching. If some of you are very privileged to have direct access to some of these women that have gone ahead of you and are producing incredible results, please guard it jealously. Sometimes sit and ask them questions. If you are in my age, what will you do different? These women are going to tell you some things that no book will tell you, because they will speak from the place of experience and from the place of failure, lessons, and successes that they have recorded. So make sure that you invest in having a personal relationship with some prominent, they must not be very prominent and influential, but just somebody who has gone ahead of you and you think that this is a path that you desire to walk. This is critical for you. Next is access to an extensive network. One of the most powerful things in building a thriving career is the kind of network that you surround yourself with. You cannot consistently be in your father's house. You cannot consistently exclude yourself and expect to rise in the corporate world. There are some opportunities, there are some trends, there are some lessons that until you are connected to certain people, you will never have access to. So that's why I strongly encourage attending industry events, attending programs like this, for example, connecting with new people. Like if you look at this particular Zoom session right now, and those who are following on Facebook, you will definitely see that you can connect to some extraordinary women who are doing other things in different fields that if you did not join this platform, you will not know that they exist, right? That's why I started this session and I said that write your name, write where you're connecting from, and write what you do. You never know somebody who can see you and say, oh, you know what? I think we can do something together. You never know who can endorse you. You never know who can open a door for you for an opportunity. It is very critical. You need to avoid wearing the guest mindset, have the host mindset, go out there and connect with the right people. When you build the right networks, it can increase your chances to the kind of opportunities that you will have access to as a young person. The next fundamental that you need to lay down and start building for yourself before you can rise to the next level is intellectual curiosity and service-oriented to humanity, service-oriented humility. Now, that is the ability to learn, to be very curious. You are not always showing or demonstrating that you know a lot. You are not always claiming that you are Mrs. or Miss Know-All. You are very curious. You're always asking questions like, what if? Can you tell me more? Can you explain further? Because you desire to know more so that you can use that and serve more people in all humility. It is difficult for you to rise in the corporate world if you don't have intellectual curiosity, because it is difficult for you to know everything. Intellectual curiosity also means that you learn, you study, you buy books and you read, you attend industry events so you hear what other experts are talking about. Because until you have access to superior knowledge, you will always have difficulties experiencing superior performance and incredible results. As I always like to say, the quality of your impact and the size of your bank account directly corresponds to the quality of knowledge and competence that you command. That's why intellectual curiosity and innovative learning is very critical. The next thing that you need to have as a young woman for you to rise to the top in your corporate journey is drive and commitment to improve the state of the world. Hear this: only contributors get to rise to the top. Only people who contribute to advance the society, only young women who contribute to advance an industry, only young women who contribute to advance an institution will get to thrive in their corporate journey. Nobody likes a consumer. Nobody likes somebody who is just there to complain and contribute nothing. You will not be a disruptor, you will not be a thought leader, you will not be a respected professional if you don't have the drive and the commitment to improve the state of the society. So you need to be somebody who desires to create, you desire to contribute, you desire to bring in new ideas and new perspective. You must have that mentality, you must have that perspective that pushes you to drive and remain committed to improving the state of the society. Like if you start a business, how can your business contribute to the growth of the industry and nation building as a whole? If you're running an NGO, how can your NGO really, really sustainably contribute to the advancement of the society? When you start having that kind of mindset of contribution, being driven and being committed, you will definitely rise. Because until you have that mentality, the corporate ladder is not for you. Because look at the story, read the biographies of people who have risen to the top. They are very excellent when it comes to contribution. Now, after laying that foundation, you need to critically now look at, we are going to look at the action steps. What are the specific action steps that you can start taking from today to advance your career in the corporate world or as an entrepreneur, as a young lady? Point number one talks about become a person of value. Become a person of value. If you're waiting for someone to recognize the value that you bring, you may well be waiting forever. The theme of this year, the theme of this year for the International Women's Day is very peculiar and very powerful. And it talks about breaking what? Bias, right? Now, many people, especially men and even some women, they automatically undermine the value that some women can bring to the table. And if you are that kind of woman who always sits by the fence, you're always ashamed to talk, you're always ashamed to speak your mind, you're always ashamed to do whatever, you will wait forever, right? That's why I said, if you're waiting for someone to recognize the value you bring, you may well be waiting forever. Recognize your own worth, recognize your own value, have some respect in the contribution that you can bring to the table. If you want to work on a project, speak up. If you want to take a leadership position, ask for it. Because sometimes men and other your fellow women, they will just assume that you cannot do it because you are a woman. And that's why speaking up is an asset. Becoming a person of value and speaking up. You can walk up to your boss and say, I think I can head this project. I have the competence and the experience to make this project work. Because sometimes if you are waiting for the opportunities to come to you, you may actually wait forever. So the first step is become a person of value and have some respect and recognize your own worth and your own value, and be bold enough to take steps to get what you think that you can do, to ask for the opportunities you think that you can harness based on the kind of value that you command as a young professional. If you want to lead a team, say so. Why should they give that the team leadership position to a gentleman just because they think he is a man? But meanwhile, you are more experienced, you are more skillful, and maybe you are more courageous than that man. And then now you sit on the fence and you don't speak up, and maybe the project ends up having issues because the leader of that project did not have the competence, the experience, or the boldness and the heart to actually make that project work. Meanwhile, you're sitting there by the fence and you're like, this is what I could have done, but you did not give me. But nobody will give you because there is already some level of bias. Right? So no, as a young lady, not this. Again, remember that I'm doing all of this from the place of experience and working with other entrepreneurs and corporate ladies and consulting and all of that. So no one will appreciate your contributions as a young lady until you appreciate them yourself. See, as a young lady in the corporate world, be good at hyping your competence. Yeah. Be good at hyping your competence. If you're good at something, hype it. Tell your story. Because until you start doing that, they will still not trust you that you have the capabilities, the experience, and the heart and the boldness to actually get that done. And that is why it is your job to consistently work to become known as someone who can be counted upon. Because if they don't know that, if you don't show that you are dependable, you don't show that you can get things done, you don't show that you have the ability to produce the result, that bias will always be there because you are a woman, right? There's a popular Nigerian saying which states that until lions start telling their own story, the story of the hunter will always be recognized as the best part of the story because it is a one-sided story. It is a one-sided story. So that is point number one. Point number two, let your voice be heard. We've been talking about that already. Let your voice be heard. Recognize the value of your opinion and believe that what you have to share is worth listening. Now look at it, it's focusing on you first. It is focusing on you first. Recognize the value of your opinion and believe that what you have to share is worth listening. Now, until you believe in the value of your opinion, until you believe that what you have to share is worth listening, you will not even have the courage to even share. You will just be afraid unnecessarily, and you will not have the courage to actually step up to share that opinion. Maybe that opinion could change the face of the company or advance the profitability of that institution. But because you don't recognize the value of your opinion, and because you this little demon of low self-esteem is still rotating around your destiny, You now shrink behind, sit on the fence, keep your valuable opinion to yourself. Then maybe the company goes the wrong way or the project goes sideways, and you start regretting and you start feeling bad. Maybe when you're alone, that, oh, I wish I shared this perspective. I wish I shared my point of view to my boss or to my supervisor. This could have turned out to be different. That is why self-esteem and self-confidence is very, very critical. Somebody defines self-confidence as believing in your abilities that you can get something done. Believing in your own abilities that you can get something done. That is self-confidence. So I want to challenge you, be very confident enough to let your voice share your opinions. Recognize the value of your opinion. Recognize that you are intelligent. Recognize that you are a professional. Recognize that you command some level of value and you have what it takes to advance a project forward or to advance the company forward. Okay. The third element that I strongly recommend for young ladies to put in practice as they desire to build a thriving career is invest in your reputation. The most important professional asset you have is your reputation. You need to guard your reputation jealously. It is difficult for you to rise in the corporate world without what they call corporate reputation, what they call professional reputation. It is very, very critical. How are you perceived? How are you perceived by others? And your reputation comes from the place of your ability to produce results when you are given tasks. Reputation comes from your ability, comes from how you present yourself. Talking about intelligent conversation skills. There are some young ladies that maybe if you give them the opportunity to talk, they cannot talk well in good English. It start minimizing the strength of your reputation. That is why if there's one thing I can encourage you as a young lady to invest in is build your conversational skills, build your communication skills. I'm not just talking about anything, but talking sense in your industry, talking sense around the things that concerns the work that you do. Because it is very critical, it's a very critical part of your reputation. Your reputation can also be affected by the strength of your professional qualifications. Just the fact that you have a master's degree, just the fact that you have an MBA, just the fact that you have a BSc and other international certifications, that alone put a unique perception about you in the eyes of other people. It contributes to your reputation. Your reputation can also come from the kind of people that you connect with, you mingle with, and who they see that you talk to or you relate with. Let me take us back to our quarters and communities, or when we're still young and in primary, in secondary school. If your mom was like my mom, and my mom sees you talking or moving in the quarter with a boy who is known to be stubborn, who is known to being a thief, or who is already smoking and going to nightclubs, the way my mom shouts at you, or the kind of slaps you receive when you enter the house, you will not, you start with, but what did you do wrong? But those slaps are coming from from that place because your mom saw you somewhere hanging around with some people that, according to her, their reputation is not good. So your network or the people you mingle around with actually contributes to your reputation. And looking at the social media landscape that we are in right now, the kind of information, or what you may call digital footprint, the kind of information that people discover or discover about you on the internet is very important. It contributes to your reputation. Let me ask you a question. If somebody go and Google search your name now on Google, what will they see? That is your reputation. Oh, wow, she's everywhere. Oh, she has been profiled by this. She has an article on this platform. She has this and all of that. And that goes to the next thing. In the professional world, the kind of articles that you publish contribute to your reputation. You cannot claim that you are a professional in an industry and you don't contribute to the knowledge base of that industry. One proof of professionalism is the kind of concepts, knowledge, content that you create towards that industry. You cannot say that you are a BSc graduate in any field and nobody can read your final project on the internet. It reduces your reputation. Find a journal and publish it somewhere. When somebody look up your name on the internet, they see a project attached to your name published somewhere. You cannot say you have a master's degree or you have an MBA and none of your thesis, none of your articles are anywhere on the internet. So what really shows that you're a professional? What have you contributed to the industry as a professional? There are some jobs that you will not be admitted if you don't have content to your name. You will not be recruited if you don't create content around the industry. There are some jobs that when you apply, they ask you to submit links to some things that you have written about the industry. Because people that create content and contribute to knowledge, they are highly respected and they look at them as creators, innovators, or people that look at things from diverse perspectives and can bring in new ideas, new frameworks, new methodologies that can advance the company forward. And that's why we have done your doctorate degree program. You understand that one thing that qualifies you to earn a doctorate degree is the kind of knowledge contribution that you bring to your industry. This makes up part of your reputation. So as a young lady in the corporate world or who desires to build a strong, who desires to build a thriving career in the corporate world, what is the strength of your reputation? On 10, let us go to the chat box. On 10, rate your reputation on 10. Let's go. If you say 1 on 10, it means you have very poor reputation. If you have 10 on 10, you have very high reputation. If you have 5 on 10, you have average reputation. Let's go to the chat box. Describe your reputation. And specify your industry. If you write 7, write agriculture. You write 7, write fashion. Write 8, write this. Let me see the industries. Okay, 2 on 10, insurance. Okay, so there's work to be done. 8 on 10, which industry is that? 9 on 10, fashion. 7 on 10, agriculture. 7 on 10, finance. Okay, so all this book, anybody who has 5 on 10 and above, it means that if we Google search, you will see a lot of information about you. Yeah, that's it. That's one proof that you have good reputation. That's why I say anybody who says on 5 and above, it starts from your digital footprint. It starts from there. There should be some things on that proves that you command some level of respect and reputation in that particular sector. Okay, so you will now discover that many of you have a lot of work to do, which is okay. So you need to advance. You need to do your path to build that strong reputation in your career. And places where you have done volunteering, internship, and even your previous work experience, it contributes to your reputation. Okay, the fourth point, the fourth point when it comes to how to become significant in the corporate world as a young lady in Cameroon, in Africa, and anywhere, is confidence isn't having the right answer. It is knowing you can figure out the right answer. This point has killed many destinies, let me say so. Many young ladies have shrunk behind and they sit by the fence. They exclude themselves because sometimes they think that they are not as intelligent as other people, in quotes. Read that again. Confidence isn't about having the right answer. No. Confidence is knowing that you can figure out the answer. That is a kind of attitude that you need to develop. That they tell you to do something, you cannot do it now, but you tell your boss you will learn it. You will go and learn it and get it done. So don't exclude yourself from some opportunities because you think you don't have the right answer. That's why somebody in entrepreneurship will always say that if in business, in business entrepreneurship, always say that as a business person, if you come across a contract in your industry and they want to give you that contract, don't say no. Take the contract and go spend sleepless night and figure out how you're going to execute that contract. If it means recruiting more people, recruiting experts, if it means watching YouTube videos, if it means reading books, if it means doing, as long as it is in your industry, accept it and go figure it out. I've done that several times. I've accepted many consulting contracts, and there are some things that I have never done before, but you accept it because you are leveraging maybe on help from other experts, you are leveraging on help from other colleagues, you are leveraging from your ability to learn, contextualize, and convert what you have learned into projects, services, or products or solutions that people can understand. And for you to operate in this dimension, you must be a hard worker. You must be somebody who is very committed, dedicated. You are very good at learning. You are very good at unlearning, relearning, and learning new things. You are very good at asking for help. You are very good at breaking boundaries. You don't sit and just complain. No, you find your way around the most difficult situations. You are very resourceful, very, very resourceful. So from today to thrive in a corporate career as a young lady, if you don't have the right answer, have the attitude, have the mentality, have the resourcefulness of always figuring out the answer. Don't just say, I don't know how to do it. Like right now, we're doing a mini MBA program where we're training people on some business strategies or all of that, 3 months mini MBA program. And part of the ways to submit assignments is to all assignments, as majority of the assignments are submitted through PowerPoint presentations, right? And one lady was like, oh, I don't know what a PowerPoint is. My response was, figure it out. Go and watch YouTube channels, go do something about it. Don't just say you don't know. Who says that they don't know something in 2022 when there's a lot of information everywhere? You can ask for help everywhere. Okay, you have never heard about a PowerPoint presentation. That is fine. Nobody knows everything. But how can you figure it out? That is the kind of mentality that successful people have. The mindset of always figuring things out. Nobody was born, or nobody is born, no child is born when they have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. Everybody is figuring it out in the process. That is a mindset. So stop having that kind of mindset. Oh, they ask you, can you do something? You say, no. Are you okay? And this is you say, no, continue. Yes, for right now, I don't know how to do it, but I think give me 2 days. I'll show you how to do it. Okay? Have that kind of mentality. The next point on how to become significant in the corporate world as a young professional, we're talking about the secret to productivity is to stop doing things that are comfortable and start doing things that matter. Stop doing things that are comfortable and start doing things that matter. You will not thrive in the professional world when you do things based on how you feel. You will not thrive in the professional world when you do things based on how your body reacts. It's either you do what is required or you go home. It's either you do what the marketplace needs from you or you go home. That is why I always say that motivation is for babies. Self-discipline is for people, for mature people. If you are still doing things based on how you are motivated, it means that there are some days that you will not do it. But when it comes to self-discipline, when it comes to the kind of mentality that you discipline yourself to do what is required, to do things that matter, not doing things based on how you feel, you will always be very productive and advance your career consistently. So you need to move from doing things based on how you feel, like, do you feel you do things based on, should I study or not? should I do this or not? No, you do what is required. You do what matters. Like there's an initiative I run called the Peak Performance Academy. And currently we're doing a 50 days or so morning school program where members of the academy wake up at 4 a.m. and I coach them from 5 a.m. They study for 1 hour, and at 5 a.m. I coach them from 5 to 6 a.m. or so on different things from productivity to business advancement, career dominance, and so on and so forth, right? And I was telling them one time, there are some days that you will get up from bed. It's time for you to wake up. Your body will not like to wake up. Your body will feel like not waking up. But the point is that at 4 a.m., what is required is that you should wake up. So you will have to choose between the emotions of sleeping or the self-discipline of waking up. It is the same thing in the corporate journey. It will be difficult for you to consistently advance in your business as an entrepreneur or in the corporate world as a professional if you still allow your emotions or you still do things based on how you feel. You need to allow self-discipline to drive you the more, to drive you consistently so that you can do what is required. You can do what the marketplace requires, not what you feel like doing. You do what the company requires, not what you feel like doing. That is why when you're recruited in a business, you change your lifestyle to fit the policies, the systems, and the structure and the culture of the company. No company changes to fit the employee. The company can improve on the culture based on better working policies and an efficient workplace, not because they want to change and please you as a person. If they are doing any change that fits what you desire, it is based on the fact that the human resource officer or the consultant or whoever has done proper analysis and they have seen that if there is a change in this culture, it is going to advance the company forward, increase workplace efficiency, collaboration, and so on. But it is your job that if you work for a business, do what is required. Don't do what you feel like doing. And that's why you can be sanctioned or disciplined or issued a query letter or your one-day salary or whatever discipline that the company has in place can be remitted on you if you don't do what is required by the company. Next, regardless of your career path, there is no direct flight and the layovers will take longer than you think. So as you desire to build your career in the corporate world, I want you to understand that there's no direct flight, especially for young ladies who are still 25 years and below. If you are still 25 years and below, you are still in the age of exposure. You are still in the age of trial and error. You're still in the age of experiencing a lot of things. And I can guarantee you that what you will end up doing, you know, what you studied in school, there's a high probability of that to happen. Or some of the skills that you really start using are not the skills that school taught you. Okay, so there's no direct flight to rise to the top. You may end up trying a couple of things before you end up doing that. Like I was talking to one of my staff, and I think she read logistics and transport, but now she's into finance. She's a finance officer of the institution, right? There's no direct flight. But sometimes just your willingness and desire to learn, to be innovative and push yourself and try new things, you may discover new passions. You know, as we grow old, as years passes by, we get to discover new passions as we are exposed to new friends and new opportunities, new cities, new towns, new villages, new countries. You get to, your passions and your desires and the things that you get attached to start changing. So there is no direct flight. That's why you may only start getting a direct flight maybe from 25 and above. And here's what I mean. Between the ages when you are young, right up to 25, it is okay for you to do a lot of try and error because you are still trying to discover your path. You are still trying to discover your journey. You're still trying to discover a lot of things about yourself. You're still learning a lot about who you are, your potentials, your characteristics, the things that you love and hate. There are still many, many things that are actually going on in your life, and you need to make sure that you're learning a lot from it. Now, in the second season of your life, because there's a book which talks about the 4 seasons of life for humans. The first 25 years, the second 25 years, the third 25 years, and the last 25 years, if I thought you live that long. So the first 25 years for you to make mistakes. It's for you to learn, do trial and error. That's okay, right? The next 25 years is for you to choose a path. It's for you to choose an industry that you are willing to dedicate the rest of your life to build. That is why I always advise that one of the best gifts that you can give yourself on the 25th birthday is the gift of understanding what you will do with your life for the rest of your life. That's a very powerful gift, because if you are 25 and above, you are 30 and you are still confusing, you are still trying to do this, doing that. I'm not saying it is not late for you to change and learn and become better, but I think you are losing a lot of time already. But it's not late for you to change. People still discover their path at 40 and 50, and they still get to use the time left and achieve a lot of stuff. But you are on a safer path if you are able to discover it on time, and you start dedicating your time, your day, and your nights to build the beautiful path that you want for your career as a person. So make sure you invest in that. Next is learn the rules of the game. Learn the rules of the game. If you want to rise in the corporate world, you will need to learn the rules of the game. It is very important. If you desire to build a thriving career in the banking sector, learn the banking rules. Discipline yourself. Burn the midnight candles and learn the rules and regulations that govern that sector. Every sector is governed by professional ethics. Every sector is governed by a ministry or an agency, and it's your job to know the laws of the land that govern your industry. If you're in agriculture, what are the various policies and rules that govern the agricultural sector from the Ministry of Agriculture? If you're in finance, what are the laws that govern the finance law in Cameroon? If you're in defense, what are the laws instituted by the Ministry of Defense to do that? If you are in healthcare, what are the laws that you need to master as shared by the Ministry of Public Health? You need to learn the rules of the game. There is no way that you are going to rise in your corporate career if you don't know the rules that govern your institution. You don't know the rules that govern your industry, and you don't know the general laws that governs you as a citizen. Forget about rising as a professional in a particular sector. That is why every thriving executive is very good at governance, very good at certain governance laws and rules and regulations, because if you don't know it, you can be locked up. As I always say, ignorance is against the law. Let's say that thing again, right? Ignorance is you can be punished for your ignorance. Okay, it's your job to know. Okay, I desire to build a career in this sector. Okay, what rules do I need to know? What are the regulations that I need to master? What are the things I need to do and not to do so that I am in accordance with the laws of the land as a professional? So for you to become, to build a thriving career in the corporate sector as a young lady, pay the price and know the rules as a person. Next, young women need to master systems leadership, which is about cultivating a shared vision for change, working together with all stakeholders of global society. Yeah, so you need to know how you can work with different stakeholders. That's why it's called systems leadership. If you are in the sector, let's say, for example, you are in the civil society organization, which kind of international agencies do you need to master and know how to work with them? Which kind of national ministries in your country do you need to know how to work with them? So understanding the various systems, leadership systems in your sector is very critical for you. So the question is, please mute your mic. So the question is, in your sector right now, what are the various leadership systems that you need to master as a young lady who desires to build a thriving career? How can you bring together all the key stakeholders nationally, internationally, globally, so that you can work with them and advance the work that you do? Because you cannot thrive alone. That is why, like, for example, if you're an accountant, it is good that maybe you become a ACA certified. That's the leadership system. So it increases your chances of being respected globally as an accountant. If you're an auditor, you need to become certified by CIA, right? If you are a coach, for example, you've been certified by the International Coaching Association. If you're a trainer, so there are many of these things that you will have to master them. You have to master them, master this leadership system, and see how you can cultivate a shared vision for change around these systems and work together with all key stakeholders to advance the work that you desire to do. So don't just be a novice. Just don't just be there like that. There are some young people, there are some young women that ask them, what are the various
I just want to hold it because
you ask them, what are the various associations governing their sector? What are the various global platforms governing their sector? What are the various key stakeholders in Cameroon, in Africa, governing their sector? Who are the major policy makers, decision makers governing their sector? They will not tell you. They will not tell you. That's a challenge too for you already. So you're looking for opportunities that you don't qualify to harness the opportunities. And it's going to be a challenge for you. So those are some elements that you need to practice so that you can rise as a young lady in the corporate world. Now, let us conclude with me sharing with you the valuable corporate skills every young lady must practice. Valuable corporate skills that every young lady must possess, acquire, and deploy. Right? Valuable skills that every young lady must acquire and deploy before they can advance in their career. If you are still following, please indicate in the chat. If you are still following, please indicate in the chat box that you're following and state one lesson you have learned so far from the session in the chat box. Let's go. You're not following instructions. I say write that you're following and indicate one lesson that you have learned so far in the session. Don't just say you're following, you're off topic. Okay. Anybody writing I'm following, you have failed. Okay, following, you have learned about reputation, you have learned about learning the rules of the game, you have learned about doing what matters or doing what is required. Your family talks about be good at hyping your competence. Yes, that's good. You have learned about that integrity is important. Good. Okay. Yes, learn about leadership systems, very powerful. Yes, believe in the power of your voice. Reputation, charity, and leadership. Okay. Good. Excellent. So people are not sleeping in class. All right, let's proceed and conclude with the last part of the session, and we can go to questions and answers if we have the time. I wanted this to be maximum 1 hour 30 minutes, and let's proceed. Okay, valuable corporate skills for every young lady. So all the young ladies in the house, these are the skills that I strongly encourage you to acquire and deploy from today. And I hope they bless you and challenge you. Number one is what we call cognitive flexibility skills. The ability to think critically about who you are talking to, deeply listen, telecommunication to that person. Now, everybody can talk, but not everybody has the ability and the capability to talk and tailor what they're saying to the person that they're talking to. They don't have the ability to steal the heart of somebody. Like many people don't know how to talk to an investor, for example. Many people don't know how to talk to their supervisors, to their bosses. Many people don't know how to talk to a government leader if they met one. Many people don't know how to talk to a diplomat, an ambassador, a consular service officer, or whoever that you can talk about. The ability to be able to know how to tailor your conversation and communicate to a particular person in a way that they will get what you're talking about. I was given an example. I was given an example the other day with some entrepreneurs. I was saying that when I'm out of Africa, to go do business, let's say, I was given an experience that happened in Turkey last time I traveled to business. And I was saying that when somebody asks me, what do you do out of Africa? I tell them that I help businesses expand into the African markets. Because I am not in Africa. So there's a high possibility that many people I'm going to meet there, they are mostly European business people, Middle East business people, American business people, and so on. And they have a special interest to come to Africa, right? So instead of saying that, oh, I'm a consultant, I do this, I do, they don't need to hear all of that. Many of them may, if we're in an African business forum, there's a high chance that they came to that forum because they desire to penetrate the African market. So to be flexible, I need to have a different pitch that I can give to them to let them know that I have the ability and the skills to solve their problem, right? So in the episode, what do you do as a consultant? Say, I have expertise in helping international businesses penetrate the African market. And then the discussion can spark up from there. And that has always led me to have a lot of international consulting offers from different companies to Central Africa for market research and all of these things. Right? So you need to learn. So you cannot have the same way that you present your business or the same way that you present yourself professionally. You need to have that cognitive ability or flexibility to know how to think critically, listen deeply, and tailor your communication to meet the needs of the person you're talking to. Same for people that have businesses. Because not every customer is not the same. Customers come from different backgrounds, different religions, different educational strength, and all of that. So you need to have that cognitive flexibility to have diverse ways of marketing and carrying out sales activities with them. The second skill that is critical for young ladies to possess to rise in their corporate career is the skills of negotiation. The skills of negotiation. You need to know how to negotiate. You need to know how to bargain, quote. You need to know how to drive an intelligent conversation and get what you want. You can negotiate for yourself. You can negotiate for your business. You can negotiate for whoever, but be so good at negotiating that you can get the deal in your favor. Be so good at negotiating with the client that you can always close the deal and the company enjoys some level of profitability. So invest in your negotiation skill. And one thing to note very important is that your conversational intelligence contributes to the strength of your negotiation skills. If you don't know how to drive an intelligent conversation, you don't know how to talk fluently, you don't know how to just speak in a way that somebody can understand you and speak in order, speak in a systematical way. Don't put it here, put it there, put it there, and you use a lot of filler words, you know, like you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. You're not saying anything. Before you say two sentences, you have said like 200 times. You will not be able to communicate and converse and negotiate in a powerful way if you do that as a young lady in the corporate world, because communication is the lifeline of business when it comes to the corporate setting. Next is service orientation, actively seeking ways to help others. Actively seeking ways that you can use your skills, you can use your intelligence, you can use your experience to serve your colleague, to serve your boss, to serve somebody in the industry, or to just contribute to advance the nation, the institution. Service orientation is a critical skill in the corporate world because you will only be promoted based on how far you can serve the business, based on how far you can serve customers, based on how far you can serve your colleagues, based on how far you can serve your immediate supervisor as a professional. Number 4, judgment and decision making. As organizations collect more and more data, there will be an even greater need for workers who can analyze that data and use it to make intelligent decisions. As I always like to say, grammar does not run a business. It is numbers that build a business. That is why one of the most important skills now is the ability to look at data, analyze data, make decisions that can advance a business, make marketing decisions, make consumer purchasing decisions, make market entry decisions, make market expansion decisions, make team recruitment, whatever decisions that can advance the business, data. So it will be difficult for you to advance in the corporate world if you don't have the skills of judging a situation based on the data available and making the right decision after judging that particular situation. So you need to know how to look at data, look at the numbers, look at the trends in the industry, look at what is happening here and there, gather this data together, analyze it, observe this. Okay, if this can happen this way, this can happen this way. If this can go this way, if we take this step like this, we're going to advance the business like this. The way the customers are reacting right now, if we move our marketing this way, we can advance the sales this way. You need to look at things from those various dimensions. And at the end, you make a firm decision which can lead to execution and, of course, profitable result for the institution. So you need to train yourself. Don't run away from things that teach you how to think. Don't run away from numbers. Learn how to use numbers to make decisions. These are very critical for you. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. You cannot thrive in a corporate world when you easily get angry. You easily disrespect and shout at somebody. You easily just say things anyhow. You just speak anyhow. You just behave anyhow. You react anyhow. You will not grow. One of the best strengths in the corporate world is emotional intelligence, the ability to manage your emotions and the emotions of others. Be aware of your emotions. Be aware of how others can react if something happens and how you can manage that. There is no way you can separate human beings from emotions. The day you stop having emotions, you are no longer a human being, you're a machine, or you're probably dead. But as long as we have emotions, we need to grow our emotional intelligence, the ability to manage our emotions and even manage ourselves when others behave the wrong way. Sometimes you just calm down when you don't talk. Sometimes the other person is ranting seriously. Even though you are hurt and you feel bad, you are trying to manage your emotions and calm down so you can calm the other person down so you guys can talk like people who are reasoning. So you need to train yourself to manage your emotions. And managing emotions doesn't mean hiding your emotions. You can learn how to communicate how you feel, but communicating in a matured way. You can go to a supervisor or to your boss and say, okay, no, yesterday you did something like this. You walked away because you felt that it was not proper, and you want to talk with him now or with her now based on whatever is going on. Number 6 is ownership. The 6th skill that you need to thrive in the corporate world is ownership, full leadership ownership. The corporate world is for young ladies who demonstrate an ownership of the outcome of their project. That means doing what it takes to get things done. If it means staying late, you can stay late to get it done. If it means going the extra mile to learn something new before you come and deliver, you go and do it. If it means asking for help, you do it. If it means whatever that you think you can do ethically and professionally to get the project executed the right way and fulfill the objectives, that is what is called ownership. You will only thrive in a corporate world if your boss can give you a project, your boss can give you a task, and you take full leadership ownership of that task and that project and go the extra mile. You move heaven and earth to make sure that that task or that project is completed according to the standard laid down or according to the expectations of that particular project. You need the skill of full leadership ownership. And any young person who manifests this particular skill automatically cannot be a chief procrastination officer, cannot be a chief complaining officer, cannot be a chief crying officer, cannot be a chief murmuring officer. That person is a chief execution officer. If you still complain, you still murmur, you still do whatever that you do that is not proper, you don't have the skills of full leadership ownership as a young person in the corporate world. Reliability. If you want to move up the corporate ladder, you need to show that leaders can always count on you. Yeah. If nobody can rely on you, nobody will give you responsibilities. And if nobody can give you responsibilities, it means that you're irrelevant. And if you're irrelevant, it means that you should be sacked, should be terminated. You are not used to the business. You are not used to any human being around there. So being reliable means that your boss can give you more responsibilities. And being reliable means that you're relevant. And being relevant means that you're an integral part of the institution. And when you're an integral part of the institution, it means that you can be a highly paid staff. So do you want to advance or move up the corporate ladder? You need to show that leaders can always count on you. You need to show that you are competent. You need to show that you are productive. You need to show that when you say yes, you will do it, you actually get it done. You need to show that you are a growing person. You learn new skills for the sake of your position and for the sake of the company so that you can serve their business. The 8th skill that you need to acquire for you to thrive in the corporate world as a young lady is strategic planning. The process of defining company strategy or direction and making decisions on allocation of resources of capital and people. You can actually sit and define the future of the company. You can actually sit as a departmental head and you can draw out the action plan for the next 1 week, for the next 1 month, for the next 3 months, for the next 2 years, for the next 1 year. It's a very important skill in the corporate sector. If you don't know how to go through the process of defining the company strategy or direction or action plan or priorities for that season, you are lacking so much in one of the most important skills in the corporate setting. And if you don't know how to make allocations of resources, both capital and people, for example, you have limited resources, you need to decide, will part of this money go to buy equipment or part of this money will go to fund marketing? Will part of this money go to pay salaries or will part of this money go to buy more equipment or recruit new staff? You need to know how to allocate resources, especially money, based on the needs of the business. You also need to know how to allocate human resources. You need to look at, okay, during this particular season, do we need more employees to be doing marketing, or we need more employees to be doing customer acquisition, or we need them to be doing manufacturing, or we need them to be doing distribution, or we need them to be doing financial management? Whatever, it is your job as a young lady in the corporate sector to know how to allocate human resources based on the season and the place where the business is operating at that time. So push for that blueprint and master this particular skill. Therefore, as I conclude, a competent young lady is a formidable young lady. And I have one of my friends who always like to say this. He says there's nothing as sexy as an intelligent lady who can get things done. And I totally agree with him on that particular prophetic declaration. All right, everybody, that's it for today. we can get some questions and we can round up for the session. Started at 7 p.m. and I wanted us to end at 8:30. So we are on time. We have 10 minutes to round up the session, and I hope that it was worth it. You picked up some lessons and that. I'm going to go to questions. What did you learn? What will you start changing in your career from today? What new things will you start implementing as a professional in the corporate setting? I know there are gentlemen in this particular session right now. Please, I don't expect questions from you. So on the ladies are permitted to ask questions. This is their day, so let's give it to them. Before they say that we are not promoting women empowerment. All right, people, questions. Want to ask a question? What did you learn? What stood out for you? You can also contribute in that direction. Remember that I encourage all of us to speak our minds, right? Don't shy behind the fence. Don't stay away. No, come on, talk. Feel free to talk. Raise up your hand and talk. And you never know, you may be a job seeker. You don't know who you say that can employ you, right? We have over 78 people here and people following on Facebook. So you never know who can give you an opportunity. Just open your mouth and talk, and you can talk sense. Okay. We have Ashley. Your hand is up. Want to say something? I'm seeing some hands up. Olivette, you want to say something?
Yes, this is Ashley.
Yes, Ashley, go ahead.
Okay, actually, it's about my business. I actually learned a lot because if I have to start telling all the things that I've learned, it's really a lot. And you've actually hit hard on a lot of points that are challenges I've been facing because I'm into beauty and I'm a formulator.
Okay.
I'm a cosmetic formulator. Okay. So right now I have a lot of challenge. Before I was in Ghana, I was actually formulating and selling. It was it was really easy for me to really send my products out in the market and do marketing, and I was doing it alone. And now back home, I have a lot of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I have challenges, for example, like sending the product out, like marketing, like sales. My sales are really bad. One thing I've actually noticed with the two different things is back there, they actually believe a lot in natural products.
Yeah.
And here, there's still a whole lot of work to do. And ladies here believe a lot in skin bleaching.
Yeah.
So if they say organic, all what they know is you have to lighten up, which that is not it. It kills the melanin. So you keep telling somebody will call like, I want something that I'll be light like in 2 days. That's not possible. Yeah. And a lot of people do pro mix. So it's the market. I'm actually now really facing a challenge on how I'm looking for a strategy, how I can really send my business out there. And
now let me tell you something. Okay. What you are doing, see, you are it is also a sign that you have a future. Because when you enter a sector, when there are challenges in the sector, it means that there is a future in that sector for you. Because number one proof is that ladies like bleaching, and bleaching has consequences, right?
A lot.
Good. So that is a business opportunity for you. And you are in a kind of business that education and awareness is an important part of your model.
Very.
Now, imagine that you organize a free conference on the 10 negative effects of bleaching on young ladies. Okay. Now, you teach them on those things, and then you sell your products.
Okay.
Now, that's actually a business model. That's why there are some companies who see them that invest heavily on education. And when they do that, they now get to, it's like what needle marketers do. Have you ever attended a needle marketing session? They get to educate you first. They get to teach you first. And then towards the end, they get to give you a solution to the problems that they have enumerated for you. Or let's not even go there. Let's go to these non-native doctors, herbalists around us, all these Dr. Dewas, all these people, right? The way they will sing syphilis, you can feel like you have syphilis. They will sing.
That's true.
until they will see problems until educate you on the signs and symptoms, force you, educate you. If you're not careful, you start thinking that you have the syphilis and all of those that I always name them. And then towards the end, they now suggest a product that solves that particular problem.
Okay.
Your business or all those problems, instead I am seeing that you have a very bright future in the industry.
Okay.
So, you need to retailer your model and see, okay, all of these things that you have discovered because you're an expert. Now, how can you now develop models, business models around this and start solving this particular problem based on the solutions that you have? Okay, you instead have more opportunities.
Okay.
Awesome. Good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Good. We have somebody's hand is up, and I'm seeing Techno Come on 15. Is that your new name? Okay. Can you talk? Your hand is up. Have something to say? Or we go to Olivette or Melvis, full Melvis. Any of you who is ready, unmute yourself and talk. Anybody else? Let me see. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Melvis. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm very grateful for this wonderful session. I actually learned a lot. But
Awesome.
I have a question concerning emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Lately, I realized that I have been because normally I work in a company, we sell products. And lately I've become so recently I have become so dramatic over the issue of price, like disputing the price with customers. So there's normally a particular percentage that we give to clients, maybe like 5%, but recently I noticed that whenever we give 5%, customers are not okay with it. But then the boss always intervenes in most cases, and maybe gives a higher percentage, and then now it gets me so emotional that maybe I become so over dramatic, or maybe I don't react well, because it's like we're putting rules into place and we cannot observe them, or we cannot see into the implementation. So how can I handle?
I think it's
that kind of a situation?
I think it's a two-way thing, which is something only you guys can handle. Number one, I think the leadership structure is weak, or how the leadership of the business implements certain things is weak. And number two, in any business, when customers complain, that is very important. You need to pay attention to that, because if the customers are not getting a good buying experience or a good service experience from you, they will leave you and go buy from somebody who can give them the experience they're looking for. And you will have good products and nobody's buying from it. So I think your leadership needs to work on the structure. And then for your case, you need to know this. In business, you already know that you're going to meet different types of customers. You already know that you're going to meet customers that react differently, behave differently, and so on. So you need to always be proactive when it comes to your emotions. You learn. That's why they always say that many customer service or business people pretend a lot. They are smiling with you, but they are so angry in their hearts, right? But they're smiling with you face to face. You already know that you're in a business setting and you're going to meet different types of people. And also in business, always focus on solving the customer's problem. The customer is complaining, you have the solution. How can you bring you guys together on a platform that you can communicate and lead to the advancement of that particular challenge? Okay, thank you for asking that. Let's take the last two questions. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Olivette, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good evening.
Yes, go ahead.
So I wanted to thank you very much for the session of today. That's taught me a lot. But I wanted to ask something. I'm the owner of a printing press in Bamenda,
Okay.
And I just started the printing press. It's about 6 months now, but I've been facing a little problem. Like the money that I gather or acquire from the business in the beginning, I try to buy more machines, but I have a partner. So the partner is like, uh you need to reduce the rate at which you buy machines so that you can see, like, so that you can start saving up money. But I've seen that if I'm able to buy more machines to meet up with the needs of the customer, because the way we do it is located in a place where there is like no other printing press there. So I'm like, if we can buy more machines to get the customers to know that we have the machines, so that when they bring their work, we don't take long to
Okay, hold on.
deliver.
Yes, hold on there. Hold on. First question is, are you buying the machines because you have seen that your customer base have so grown that your current machine can no longer satisfy, and you are certain that the machines you would buy will increase your profitability? Are you certain about that?
It's not as if I have all the machines. There are some machines that as the customers keep coming in and they keep trusting what you say, that it's a whole printing press, because when you say you have a printing press, they expect you to have all sorts of machines. So when they come without expectations and you don't have the machines to satisfy them, let's say directly or presently, maybe it discourages them. So whenever they bring commands, it's not as if I buy machines which are already there. I buy machines which are not there yet to
Okay.
meet with the
Second
demands of the
question.
customers.
How old is your printing press?
It's about 6 months.
Okay, so you are still in the phase of building. You are still in the phase of investing. You are not yet in the phase of tracking profits.
Okay.
So it's totally okay for you to be doing what is called bootstrapping, where you are taking all the sales and profit you are making right now, and you are reinvesting back into the business to scale the equipment and to scale the ability of the business to serve more customers. Okay. So the only thing that should give you peace of mind in buying more machines is that you are increasing customers, and you foresee that there is a future for you to be a leading institution in that sector in your area. Then you can go ahead
Okay,
and
sir. Thank you very much for that response. And then I have another worry. I'm kind of person who I'm very creative. I don't want to glorify myself, but like I come up with so much ideas and I try to
it's
implement
okay
them.
to hype
So I was
yourself. Yeah,
thinking, because it is a student area, actually it's located in Bambi, beside the University of Bamenda.
yeah.
So like now, which is holiday period.
Oops. I think we lost the lady. Network in Bamenda, I guess. Vanessa, are you there? What chicken Vanessa? Noella,
Yes, sir. Good evening.
good evening. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much for this session. It was really wonderful. So, actually, I'm a medical doctor, so I have a platform where I talk on women's health.
Okay.
So now, yes, so I've really, at least, I think I've gone a long way, and in which I've had a lot of women coming and consulting to me. So now my problem is, yeah, it's okay to give free services, and I mean, I've really done a lot. Do I continue? Because I don't want to just continue all the time giving free services. Definitely, I must start having an income too.
Yes.
So I don't know how to even start from there, because most of the times when you want to start, you say, hey, this is my friend now. Hey, this doc, you have already started taking money, all this. So it's really like, I don't know how to target that.
Now, yes. So, you know, this is where wisdom comes in. Look, when you're starting something, avoid saying totally free. Now, it's different when if I come to you, Dr. Noella, and I say, you know, I'm coming for consultation, and Dr. Noella replies me and say, oh, really? So I am going to give you a service that costs 20,000 francs, and I'm going to give you for free. Now, when you say that, you are putting in my mind that this service is not free. But when you consistently
Okay.
sell for free for long, customers who are practicing repeat and regular purchase towards you, they will have that familiarity, and they will not like to pay when it's time to pay. And the option is you can use them as the adopters to prove your idea. You understand? Now that because you have used them, you have gathered data, you have proven that the solution that you created is relevant in the society. You have served people, and they have given testimonials that your service is good and your model is good. Now you can say that those people, you use them for research. Now you can start pricing now, and then you have to do one thing. You have to do your marketing beyond your immediate community. So you get people who will come to you for the value that you communicate, not because they know you.
Okay.
You understand? And when the people who are doing familiarity, when they start seeing that, oh, the way they are coming to this woman and all of that, they will start following the process. And one thing too is about creating systems. People become very familiar with you when they meet you directly. But imagine if somebody comes to you and you send them a process. Okay, you need to go and register there before you come and see me for anything. Now, systems can help break familiarity, right? Even though it's just friend and all of that, they can, no, please go. The process starts from there. From my end, I cannot do anything from my end. So it's so it breaks that familiarity, and it's okay for people to get angry and leave. It's okay. There are 7 billion people on earth. So when the customer leaves, find a better way of getting more customers, improve on your marketing, improve on your customer acquisition techniques, and get more people. Don't cry about one customer while there are 10.
Okay.
All right. One last question, please. One last question. Mama Delphine, can you go ahead? Is Mama Delphine for me there? Vanessa, are you there? You still want to say something?
Oh, are you me?
Yes,
Hello?
yes. Go ahead. Go ahead. We can get you now.
Okay, all right. Good evening, doctor. Good evening for your class this evening. I'm so grateful.
Thank you.
There is this thing about taking up responsibility as a lady in a company, hyping yourself, making them know that you can do something, you can stop a project and stuff. Yeah. Actually, I started working immediately before I even graduated from University of Boya. The same before I graduated, I picked up the job in Douala in a travel agency. Yes. And when I came in, I was a fresh. That was my first job. So there were many things that I did not know. There were many skills I did not know. So I learned a lot on the job. And I discovered a lot of loopholes in the sales, in the way things were being done. So I had to I went to my boss. I told him that I really need to get training on how to issue tickets. I was taking in the accounting department, but I want to get training on how the application that they use to issue these tickets, so I know what it entails, so I can be able to check and see what's happening, because actually the sales were not rising. We were having customers coming in that we don't see the sales. We don't see the money. So I discovered that there were guys in there that were working in the front desk, and they were taking customers away from the business. So they issue your ticket, and when you pay, they delete the ticket, and they go and buy the ticket another way. So it was a whole mafia system. Yeah. And when I came in, I saw that I had to learn so I could control, I could help. When I did that, doctor, I was an enemy to everybody. So it was really...
You were stopping their source of food.
Yeah. Really difficult. And I'm somebody, I will not work in an environment where there is fraud. I will not work. So it's really difficult for somebody like me to work, because even presently in my company now, there are certain things I see and I stop and I hush, and they really tell me in my face that they'll feel you will die a poor woman. I say, prefer to die a poor woman. Because I don't know how to deal with people like this. That particular guy crumbled that company. When I took over, I studied that we had sales 85% increase in sales in the next 6 months after my training. We were the first travel agency in the whole of Cameroon and the third in Central and West Africa. Wow. In our turnover. So we grew so rapidly that There were many things that I could see, and I would go to my boss and tell my boss, I say, look, if you could give these girls, these people that are doing the travel agency, look for the ones that are very competent and they are trustworthy, give them a laptop. In those days when we started working, laptops were costing like 3 million or 4 million. It was very expensive.
Yeah.
So I looked at me like a mad woman. Why would I give money like that to an agent to go home with? Because what the politics the airlines do is at midnight or after midnight, they'll clear the seats and they'll release some spaces for customers that reserve and do not buy tickets. So if you come up early, you could pick very good prices and you sell. So I wanted us to have give our customers good prices, because we come early, the lady can work in the night on the computer. But the man refused. Do you know what happened? 2 years down the line, Sadhguru came in those Indians. They were working 24 on that bedroom, and they kicked us out of the market like hell.
And they are still almost the best now in Africa, across Africa.
They're the best. So my travel agency now, I'm sure they are closed because I don't see where they exist anymore and stuff. There are many things. And then my boss had a problem. You cannot be a leader. You have a company. It was a one-man business. Then you are scared to ask your friends for the debts that they're owing. They come and take tickets when they don't have cash. They come to the travel agency and buy tickets on credit.
And they go and travel.
When they go and travel. And we have to pay the airline after 30 days, but they are paying us maybe after 120 days. I was telling my boss, it's not normal. You have to pay the money after 2 weeks even. It came down to 2 weeks. When we say buy a ticket, after 2 weeks, you must put the money into their account or you keep your commission. But why are we giving this? And then he will be scared to ask his friends that they can go in front and tell them that you cannot give tickets, they are overtaking their market. So why can't we tell them? It was making me feel.
And that's what happens. That's what happened. A business that has no policies and no systems and all of that, anybody can just do anything. But if they come and know that there's a process to buy a ticket, you have to go through this person, and if you are getting on credit, there is a policy to say, okay, you know what? For ticket on credit to be given, you must pay at least 40% of the amount before you get it. There should be something that binds the whole process. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that contribution. And let's round up here, everybody. Thank you. We had massive people, almost had 100 people in class in the session. Thank you for joining, everybody. I hope it was worth it, and I hope it was a good way to spend part of your evening International Women's Day celebration with me. And thank you so much. And let's stay in touch. Do have a great night ahead. Cheers.